Basically, exchange rate of a currency is a central pivot around which the survival and growth of any economy revolves, together with its twin sisters of inflationary rate and interest rate. The interplay of these three forces will create economic stability, macroeconomic stability, with resultant effects in improved standard of living for the Nigerian people. That is the bottom line. The recent policy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria is a welcome development, as it requires banks to transfer all diaspora remittances to the domiciliary accounts of the beneficiaries or pay the customers in foreign currency. It refills the previous policy instrument of the Central Bank of Nigeria, where inflows through international monetary transfers or transfer organizations like Western Union was paid to beneficiaries in Nigeria in local currency, that is in Naira. The target of annual remittance inflow of close to $24 billion will help improve the country's balance of payment position, reduce her dependence on external borrowings. The policy change, which was just introduced last week, will guarantee the recipients of such remittances will receive a market-reflective exchange rate for their inflows. We saw the Naira appreciated significantly against the dollar, and exchange at a close of business on Friday at 470 Naira to $1 at the private market, December 3rd, 2020. After announcement of this policy. That shows a positive monetary policy can always have a positive impact on exchange rate stability, thereby improving significantly, as we have seen on Thursday last week, the improvement in the exchange rate of the Naira vis-a-vis US dollar and other international convertible currencies. Well, this policy alone cannot completely address the currency issues facing the country. However, it has gone a long way and it has helped marginally in addressing that particular concern. But since the 1980s, the exchange rate of USD to Nigerian Naira has been volatile, resulting into several economic consequences. The CBN has adopted different policies in order to manage the national currency. Nigeria's overdependence on oil production and imports have resulted into worsened current account balance for Nigeria. Need for diversification of the economic base of the country will help significantly in addressing some of this concern. While oil price and exports have traded lower from the highs of 2013, when a barrel of crude was selling at that time at about 100, 110 US dollar to a barrel, imports have also increased on the back of improved foreign exchange supply. Weak domestic production and over-reliance on imports. Machinery and transport equipment and minerals fuel, that is PMS, have jointly accounted for bulk of Nigeria's imports. About 60% of the total imports of Nigeria during the period under reference is from PMS. The high foreign exchange demand for these imports have continued to put pressure on the Nigerian foreign exchange reserve because they are financed through the reserve. And payment of services rendered by foreign expatriates and demand for personal traveling allowances and basic traveling allowances have contributed to increased services deficits, and that's putting pressure additionally on Nigeria's current account balance. The shortfall in Nigeria's current account balance has largely been supported by foreign investment into the country. While the capital importation into the country has been on the increase, the large component of foreign portfolio investments, FPI, has made Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve highly susceptible to volatility. With outflows rising faster than inflows, net inflows into the Central Bank of Nigeria has been trading lower due to the rising demand for foreign exchange because of cravings for foreign imported goods in the country. Sometimes from toothpick to cotton boards to clean our ears, and umbrellas, and many other commodities that can be produced internally. The CBN had to intervene by drawing from the foreign exchange reserve in its determined effort to maintain a stable foreign exchange rate. Consequently, the Nigerian naira has witnessed a series of devaluation over the years, about 4 times in the last 5 years, which to developmental economists and other policy analysts is quite significant. Too many within too short a time period. The issues are quite fundamental, as you have rightly observed. And there is an urgent need as a nation to address them, or to begin the process of addressing them, so that we can promote social cohesion, internal peace, and enhance security of our nation, political stability, and much more importantly, guarantee a continuous happiness for the Nigerian people. One major problem of Nigerian foreign exchange crisis is its over-dependence on oil. As mentioned somewhere earlier, unfortunately, oil price has been very volatile of recent, resulting in depletion of the foreign exchange reserve. In addition, Nigeria's imports a lot of items that could be produced domestically. The increased demand of foreign exchange for this import has put a very big hole in our foreign exchange reserve. A major constraint to exports are the several trade bottlenecks and poor infrastructure at the major seaports of entry into this country, the One Port, the Tinkan Island Port, the Apapa Port. According to the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Nigeria loses $10 billion annually due to several trade bottlenecks. This is a major loss to the revenue base of the Federation. And this is an area of major concern, not only to government, but all rational people across the length and breadth of this country. The cost of import and export goods in Nigeria exceed average cost across regions due to the aforementioned trade bottlenecks and poor infrastructure. Similarly, it takes longer to import an average of 34 days and export an average of 23 days goods and services in Nigeria due to several bottlenecks mentioned. This results into lower exports and foreign exchange earnings. Following the oil crash in 2014, both the CBN and federal government have implemented several measures to curtail the pressure on the foreign exchange reserve and the naira. While the CBN has implemented several fixes, most of it have had temporal impact on curtailing Nigeria's foreign exchange pressure. In a space of 6 years, 5 to 6 years, the CBN has devalued the naira 4 times due to pressure on its foreign exchange reserve. Yet, the end to this persistent devaluation is not in sight. It's not near. The outcome of CBN policies have resulted into multiple exchange rates and inflationary pressures. In summary, these short-term fixes have created negative consequences for the foreign exchange, for economic, macro and microeconomic stability of the Nigerian state. And these are issues, in my judgment, that should be addressed as a matter of national necessity, so that the conspiracy by foreign and domestic unpatriotic forces against the naira will be comprehensively defeated, and the naira will be stabilized, thereby stabilizing the economic potence of our country. There are quite a number of recommendations. Like I mentioned earlier, we are in a very serious foreign exchange crisis in the country. And because of the demand for improved livelihood by the Nigerian people, some of the recommendations that I will give will be both short-term, medium, and long-term. Short, because of our desire to see a quick appreciation of the naira exchange rate against other currencies, so that hope can be created for the Nigerian citizens. Short, because of our desire to re-engage and reconnect the people with various political leadership within the country. And for medium terms, and long term, so that some of these policy measures will become sustainable over time, and Nigeria will be able to pull itself out of the valley of despair where it is to a position of stability for guaranteed economic growth and development of the Nigerian nation. In the short term, Nigeria still imports specific items that can be easily produced domestically. It is therefore necessary to identify quick commodities for import substitution. Private and government investments are needed to improve local capacity for consumption and even exports. Given its large economy size, most of Nigeria's neighboring countries depend on a number of imported products from Nigeria. In 2019 alone, Nigeria exported $10.3 billion worth of exports, split into $5.9 billion and 4.4 to ECOWAS and other parts of Africa, majorly South Africa, respectively. Considering these exports were only fractions of our neighbor countries' imports, it shows there is a big opportunity to export more goods and more foreign exchange for the Nigerian state. Hence, I recommend a hard negotiation and incentives with neighboring trading partners to make the Naira a benchmark currency. A single currency eliminates currency uncertainty and thus encourages trade among different countries in the region. The single currency will also eliminate the cost of converting currencies for Nigerians. I also recommend making Nigeria a financial and trade hub for West Africa. A trade hub will reduce the cost and risk of doing business in Nigeria by leveling the playing field and cutting through red tape to make investment and trade freer and fairer for everyone. The trade hub will attract private finance and investment, build links among businesses, and strengthen the agricultural and trade sectors in Nigeria. For example, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, and other West African countries have done the same. Poor infrastructure has continued to remain a major headwind for trade, investment, and economic expansion in Nigeria. According to African Development Bank, Nigeria needs $350 billion in infrastructure spending to develop the economy. Again, the backdrop of lower oil prices and depletion in foreign exchange reserve, a diaspora bond is therefore a good alternative to fund infrastructural projects. The nation has a huge responsibility to unlock some of the hidden opportunities both within and outside the shores of this country to attract more revenues, more income, so that the nation will be able to comprehensively address some or most of these issues within the shortest possible time as a means of enhancing the volume of our foreign reserve and consequently strengthening the Nigerian Naira. Having outlined and briefly discussed the short-term solutions, there is equally a need to have medium-term solutions and policies that will typically take longer time to implement. These medium policies are needed to unlock investment in several sectors and improve foreign direct investment into the country. The importance of the FDI cannot be overemphasized. FDIs are reliable sources of foreign exchange inflow. Absence of necessary policies in sectors such as tourism, automobile, oil and gas, mining, agriculture, etc., have discouraged foreign investment in these critical sectors of our national life. And without real growth in the capital sectors, manufacturing, mining, tourism, the chances are that no economy anywhere in the world will be able to meet to reach the El Dorado. During the period Nigeria reformed the telecom sector, for example, foreign investment in the telecom sector increased to 2.1 billion in 2002 from 50 million in 1999. Significant quantum leap. Similarly, the foreign direct inflow into Nigeria expanded significantly by 78% year on year to 2.3 billion in 2013, following the reforms and privatization of the power sector. Also, foreign investment in Nigeria-based digital businesses exceeded the $1 billion mark in 2018, while the most significant investments going to e-commerce and e-payment platforms. Much of this growth is largely attributed to implementation of CBN cashless policy. Cashless policy is an initiative introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria to reduce the amount of physical cash in circulation, thereby encouraging the use of electronic platforms, our ATMs, electronic online transfers using our handsets, iPads, our laptops, etc. For settlement or payment for goods and services. Hence, we believe if necessary reforms are replicated in other sectors of the economy, we will see significant investment in the sectors. As a matter of fact, Nigeria's demographic offers a very big opportunity for investment, given the rising population to consume. The most populous nation in Africa, the most populous nation in terms of an average purchasing power of its citizens, despite our economic difficulties. The huge population offers a huge opportunity for businesses to grow and for investments and investors to reap a significant reward for their investments. A good illustration that highlights the impact of working reforms and policies on foreign direct investment is Egypt. I'm giving an example of Egypt just to do some kind of peer-to-peer comparison. Egypt remains the largest recipient of foreign direct investment in Africa due to economic reforms undertaken by the government, which have improved macroeconomic stability in Egypt and strengthened investor confidence in the country. Some of these reforms and policies include removal of red tapes for investment, reduction of state ownership, and legislations making Egypt an open economy. We had a genuine attempt in the past to open up the economy by completely deregulating it. But deregulation does not mean that the government will just sit aside and allow market forces alone to determine how businesses are conducted and done in Nigeria. No, the invisible hands of government will still have to be around to guide where necessary in order to reduce significantly to the barest level the level of market distortions, which definitely market actors will always want to take advantage of.